Right,
Yeah.
so
No, wait.
I want to clarify.
I hear his point. I hear John's point.
Wait,
You're rambling
my
on.
last sentence.
You're rambling on. I want to deal with something you said.
Last sentence.
Okay,
Honestly.
go for it.
Just let me get out. So again, like going Hoyland, Solanke was another one who, again, I could sit here and make excuses last season, say we didn't play to create for a striker. We didn't. But ultimately, the striker has to score goals. Nobody sits here and feels sorry for a striker that isn't scoring goals because the team's not creating for him. Gyökeres is a senior striker, 27-year-old, came in to be a bagsman, and he's proven not to be a bagsman. It's as simple as that. Stop making excuses that you don't create for him.
Because it's not an excuse. It's just a fact of life. This is a fact of life. Like, do you know what I mean? We need to move away from this YouTube thing where people can't have normal conversations about football, bro. Like, do
you have the same energy for other strikers though? Like when they're not getting
hey, Saeed, I don't know if you know me that well, but I'm actually quite a neutral guy. You know, I'm not the guy that goes out and screws other players, and I'm quite fair. You know,
I'm not sure I know you then, Hugs.
Yeah, I'm quite a neutral guy. Yeah, but my thing is, it's not an excuse, it's a fact of life. It's like when people say, oh, why are you mentioning injury? Well, it's because it's a fact of life.
Why does Moreno continuously score then? Even though when he why does your team look way better, more fluid when he's in attack?
Continually is mad. But I'll tell you why, someone like Moreno is getting more goals. Well, saying more goals is crazy because it's not even too much, but gets more goals than you would expect from someone like Gyökeres, because when he plays in the 9, he doesn't play like a 9. He doesn't play like a 9. He drifts away and he sort of becomes the unknown, where is he type of guy. And then he will drift into the box late because people are not picking him up because he doesn't actually play in the 9.
He's got good movement. Don't do Moreno like that. He's got good movement.
Yeah, but so does Viktor Gyökeres. It's just that
why does he get in the positions then? So why does he get in the positions then?
Because he's not the focal point. When Moreno plays,
Hooks, just to understand, what you're saying is Moreno knows what positions to get into, and Gyökeres don't. Ultimately, because if Moreno's because Moreno's getting in, it's not like Moreno's scoring from the edge of the box. Most of his goals come inside the box. He's scoring a lot of headers and so on. That means he's making good movement to run into areas where he can get a header. Why is Gyökeres not making that same movement to get into those positions to finish those? He's not. He doesn't have the ability to get into those positions. He's not smart.
I'll say it again. Mikel Moreno is not a 9. He's a midfielder. So when he plays in the 9, he naturally drops into areas he would be in as a midfielder, which means he gets more space. And whoever moves into that 9 position becomes the focal point. So when he goes into the box, it's because he's not being picked up. Viktor Gyökeres, when he is on the pitch, again, he is the focal point. Hence why Saka gets more space. Hence why whoever plays on the left, Trossard, gets more space because he is the focal point. The brother will have 2 to 3 men on him in the mid. It's the same thing with Saka last season. Man are asking me, why can't Saka do all the flicks and tricks and beat 10 man? And because all the time he's on the ball, he has 3 to 4 man on him. It's just that simple. Now, George, I'm not the one that complained about Victor. You won't find anywhere me complaining about Viktor Gyökeres because I understand.
You shook your batty for 2 years for him. Of course, you're not going to complain.
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
You were sitting there for 2 years saying, "Bring me Gyökeres, bring me Gyökeres." Of course, you're going to be patient. When he fails, you're going to be the reason why.
I'm patient with any player. I'm patient with any player that leaves from a foreign league and comes over to the Premier League because unlike you, George, seems to want to do the YouTube thing all the time. I understand how difficult it is to go from a league that is abroad and then come over to the Premier League. I don't go raw. 15 games.
So what you're saying is a step up from the Portuguese league is too hard for him. That's what it is. That's ideally.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's an adjustment.
No. Because all summer, Saeed remembers because he done bare shows with D, and I remember watching these shows. We'd be on these shows. What did they say, Saeed? He scored 100 goals in 2 years. 100 goals in 2. I've heard that statement repeated.
It's the season done
50,000 times.
It's the season done.
Now he's scored 4 goals. It's not about the season being done.
It's the season done.
You're not confident he's going to score the amount of goals, though, are you?
You never once mentioned in the summer.
I still think he's going to score 20
How many goals do you reckon Gyökeres is going to score this season?
I still think he gets 20 in the Prem, and I think he gets maybe
20 in the
30.
Prem.
Yeah, I think he's 20 in the Prem. Yeah. It's a long season.
Hooks, man.
It's a long
Look,
season.
are you happy what you're seeing though? Are you happy what you're seeing, Hooks?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? Yeah, people always people laugh at me for you thought Arsenal was going to do sick this season. I'm now sitting top of the Premier League and the Champions League. So it's cool. Man can laugh at me, but I just see things before other people. And that's fine.
I said it in the summer to you guys. I don't think a striker was Arsenal's problem. I remember saying this to you guys in the summer because of the way Arteta sets up. You know, he doesn't really set up for a main striker. And if you are going to be a striker for Arsenal, you have to be technically good and work hard as well to drop into them deep areas to pick up the ball. And that's not Gyökeres' game. He's not that kind of footballer. He's not. Look, I wouldn't class Gyökeres as a good footballer. He's a good goal scorer. I think you can have two differences. I just don't think he's that kind of footballer. He's going to drop deep naturally and do his thing and be part of the game if he's not scoring. I just think he's a misprofiled, like Liverpool misprofiled Isaac. I'm not going to be hypocritical here. I say it as it is. You know, I look at someone like Ekitike. Ekitike might not score in games, but when he drops in, he looks techie, he looks good on the ball. He's a good footballer, right? I don't think Gyökeres is that kind of player. So when Moreno plays there, like Hooks is saying, because Hooks is right in some things he's saying as well, when Moreno plays there, because he drops in deep, he's technically a better footballer than Gyökeres. So it works better for Arsenal in that forward area. You know, you get the best out of the wide players. Arsenal's play still comes from their wide areas. That's where their best attackers are, in the wide areas of the pitch. They're still their best attackers, no matter what forward they got. So at this moment, Moreno almost is better for Arsenal's system than Gyökeres is right now for me.
I actually agree with that. I think Moreno is better than Gyökeres. But Wolfie, last time we spoke, you was kind of backing Gyökeres and said give him a bit more time, see what he's like. It took on time. Are you still there, or are you starting to doubt? Because I've got to be honest, bro. I'm not getting much from him at the moment when I'm watching him. But obviously, when you're outside looking in, it's different. So what are you saying?
Well, firstly, I think we got to take note that all strikers, barring Haaland, are average. They're not like they were 10, 15, 20 years ago.
I agree with that.
The level of strikers is appalling, man. You go back, even I think Defoe would be the best striker in the Premier League if he was around right now. That's how crap I rate all the strikers across Europe. And secondly, on Gyökeres, I'm not hearing enough blame on Arteta because there's a lot in what's being said here. I think Jamie touched on it, Hooks touched on it. He doesn't fit the system where Arsenal look like they need a false nine in that system. So if you're buying Gyökeres, you got to play towards his strengths. And his strengths is going to be in that box, getting the finishes and what have you. Or giving him space he can run into and get his goals that way. Now, he isn't blameless either. I think, I said in the summer, I said he looked fat. I still don't think he looked sharp in terms of his physique. I still think he needs to do a bit more work in the gym and get himself into kind of my shape, isn't it? But I still think it's early doors. Because are we saying now, if Gyökeres, so who you got? You got Wolves this weekend, haven't you?
Yeah.
If Gyökeres goes and scores 4 goals against Wolves and he goes up to 9 in 15, are we now saying that because of that game he is a good striker? Like, there's got to be a bit of perception on it, because if he does that, let's say he does that, and George comes at Hooks next week, Hooks is going to say 9 and 15, not bad, goal nearly over every other game.
What if he don't score in that game though?
Boy,
I mean, I will say hands up, he is absolute shite. But the thing is, it's just too much. It's just too much. Like, George has points, Hooks has points. The truth is somewhere in the middle, man. George has just got the knives out ready for Gyökeres because he had the knives out ready for him in the summer. You can't be shameless in this, Saeed. You can't be shameless when you called your boy Tesco and give me Gyökeres when you thought you had a sniff at him in the summer, right? I don't forget these things. I don't forget these things.
The hype that went into Gyökeres, though, it's just
from you.
When fans call it out and say, right, they said 20 goals, they said it would be the missing link. Remember, they said it was a missing piece for the title race. They said if they get this guy here, that's it. We're set to go. This is what we need. And he hasn't provided. I do agree with you, though, in terms of the manager needs a lot of blame. But, brother, did you not see his little little pass back to, I think it was it? I don't know who was left winger. It's so stiff, bro. Like, it's like, bro, this is not an Arsenal striker. The more I look at it, the more I think, wow, is he really an Arsenal striker? Like, can they really? Because I'm looking at Ekitike. I'm looking at maybe an Isak. That looks like to me an Arsenal striker, if I'm being honest with you, because of the way that you lot play. When I look at Gyökeres, I'm like, are you going to cater towards Gyökeres, or does he need to cater towards Arsenal? And I don't think he's going to cater towards Arsenal. I don't think he's got that in his bag to be so comfortable. I looked at Jesus when he came on, and I was like, yo, Jesus looking sharp, you know, tight little space, his movement, his little giving goals. That's not Gyökeres. But then we need to come to the recruitment and say, why did you not buy him then? If you know his strengths weren't to Arsenal, you weren't going to just get to replicate the goals from Liga NOS. Because I told you lot, you know, that Liga NOS is an awful league. Man like Nunes scored 20-odd goals over there. You know what I mean? The Liverpool bought him. So, you know, I look at it, I'm like, I don't think you should write him off. But at the same time, it's like, you ain't getting no 20-goal season now. You're not.
Would you say, though, when you look at Gyökeres, I think he's 28 at the end of the season, ain't he?
Yeah.
Beginning of the next season. Gyökeres is bought for now, ain't he? I'm not saying 28's old or anything like that, but he's bought now. He's ready-made. He's bought for now, ain't he? Like, in 2 or 3 years' time, he's going to be that striker. By the time he's 30, he's going to be that striker. I don't think Arsenal got time to keep bedding him in. That's the thing. It's not like he's a 22-year-old striker where you can give him maybe a year or so just to bed in and all that, and then you see the improvements in him. You know, he's ready to go now. And if there's going to be no improvements, then Arsenal might think about, you know, letting go at the end of the season.
The thing is, I don't think there is any time. There's no time to wait, in my opinion. It's got to get across the line. Also, can't help but think what Hook said earlier is right about, like, let's say Gyökeres scores 6 goals this season and Arsenal win the league. I'm not going to be crying too much, right? However, I will look at that position and still want it upgraded. Now, there's only really
Darwin Núñez won the league, and I didn't want him at my football club, man.
There we go, right? So, but I'm not saying we keep him. I'm saying that I won't really care and go, well, we won the league, but I won't be celebrating it because we signed Gyökeres and he only got
Gyökeres. Would you agree? Right? So, in Darwin Núñez's first Premier League season as a bum, he scored 11 Premier League goals. Gyökeres has got to score more than that.
So I agree with that. And I think the comparisons with him and Núñez, right, are fair because of the league they come from. All I will say is I didn't see Darwin Núñez getting hat-tricks in Champions Leagues against City and dunking on them, picking up Ballon d'Or, top scorer and Europe awards. That's all I will say in comparison to it. So I appreciate where the comparison comes from. I actually didn't hate on Darwin Núñez like a lot of other people did. Maybe if I watched him every week like you, Jay.
Oh, if you watched him every week, you'd have pulled
it. Maybe so. I thought there was a lot of stuff he did outside of just scoring. But for me,
he was good pressure. He was good pressure.
Yeah. I do feel like Viktor Gyökeres isn't even doing that really at the moment. That's my big problem. You know, like when you'll say, like, for example, Kai Havertz. Yeah, no one really wants him up top for their side, but you can appreciate what he brings to the side. He's a different dimension, does a lot off the ball, etc. I didn't want Gyökeres to be brought in to do that because I've already got Kai Havertz that could do that. I wanted this guy to be the gunman. I wanted this guy to go, right, goal, 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 goal. I don't care if I don't see him for 89 minutes. But he scores in every game. It doesn't bother me because that's all Arsenal needed. Apparently, was this gunman and this baller in the middle. So that's all I thought we would be with it. When I look at what Gyökeres has done so far at Arsenal, it's been meaty. I've not been convinced. I don't look at it and go, "Oh, this is harsh critique." It's fair critique because there was always going to be an element of pressure. But he said he wanted that. He begged to come to Arsenal. I liked that. He was scoring goals in the Champions League for his club, country, Europa League he scored as well, and obviously top scorer in Portugal. It was worth a punt. It was about 50 mil in the end. So it's not like, oh my God, we've wasted 150 mil. You know, we haven't done that, right? So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The only players I wanted alongside and outside of him was Isak, Osimhen, and Julian Alvarez. They're the only 3 that I would have taken alongside Gyökeres. I didn't want Sesko. I didn't even want Ekitike, although in hindsight, that looked like he might have suited our system more. I didn't want those 2. I don't remember crying for those 2. I remember doing what Saeed did. Benjamin Sesko, no thank you.
You wanted a goal
and then obviously, I wanted, And for me, I thought he was the guy. If he isn't going to be the guy, then calm. We move and we go and find the guy next time. Like, you can get players wrong. People have got stuff wrong before. But I would sit there and say, I can't sit there and be hypocritical and go, I'm not sure about Havertz. Jesus, not for me fitness-wise. Oh, yeah, but give Gyökeres time. No, I need the guy to come in and deliver now. And if it isn't going to be him, then we're there. So I'm with Wolfie, as let's not go too mental yet. But I can't go full on where Hooks is, which is like, you know, I think that it will happen. It's because of this, that, and the third. I'm looking at a system thing as well, an Arteta thing as well, and I've just put up them pictures of those strikers. Why can't they all bang? Are they all shocking? Or is Arteta just not able to get the best out of his 9? That's the question mark I've got, man. But I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Said.
Yeah, no, I listen, I think it's one of them where Arsenal have just got to be honest with about their player, man. Because everyone else is honest about their player. You know what I mean? And I'll be honest about Cunha. Cunha's not performed. You know what I mean? And he needs to do more. There's players, you know what I mean? And we need to ask for more, demand for more. But with Gyökeres, I still believe Arteta needs to have a set of tactics where it's almost like the final ball that comes in, he's there at the right place at the right time. Obviously, he hasn't got the elite movement of Haaland, and Haaland's on a different, you know what I mean, like different level, if I'm being true and honest with you. But at the same time, like the first touch, it just looks a bit clumsy. When you watch him, it's not on the eye, it's like, like you're like, this is not great at all, man.
He looks like a centre-back playing up top.
Yeah.
You think it?
And you know what the maddest thing is, yeah? We laughed at man like Lukaku, yeah? And Lukaku, everybody's saying Timberland boots, but then there's no energy for Gyökeres when clearly, you know what I mean? It's a similar kind of like, you know, so...
I've got to be real, I think Lukaku is looking better than Gyökeres. I can't even lie. So,
there you go.
Yeah, but don't you think the example of Haaland is the perfect example? Because if you remember before he came in, City were playing with a false 9, tiki-taka all around. Pep knew that Haaland doesn't fit into that system. He's not going to be there passing around. And he changed it. Pep is able to look at the tools he's got and decide what's the best setup and what's the best formation for it. I just think Arteta thought, right, let's just take Gyökeres, just plop him in the 9 and the ball will go in the back of the net without thinking about it from a systematic point of view. And I don't think he's getting enough heat for it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. I think personally, like, I do agree with some of the elements Hooks was saying. Like, as much as I'm cooking Gyökeres, I don't think Arsenal's team is set up to have a striker. I don't think they need a striker in the team, and I don't think they've set up. I don't even think they wanted a striker. You could see the way that they used Kai Havertz, and why he was so successful was because of his sort of movement and his build-up and his ability to get involved in just the overall, like, matter of the state of play. He can drop in, he can do the 1-2s. He doesn't have to stay as a focal number 9. But at the same time, Gyökeres, we was told that Gyökeres can bring players into play. We saw him early on in that Leeds game run the channels, and that's what we were told. Like, Arteta's going to use him to run the channels out wide to bring other players into play, and it's now going to end up working. And we saw him in Portuguese league, and one of the things that was highlighted by many fans, they said a lot of his goals come in the transition. A lot of his goals come up against high lines, and there's so much space that he's running into. Arsenal's never going to get that space. Like, maybe 2-3 times across the season, he might have that space to run in behind. So that was already identified that his style of play didn't really suit Arsenal, but everyone just ignored that because he scored goals. Now he's in the Arsenal team. You'd expect someone who scored that many goals to still find a way to get goals. So as much as I do think it's on Arteta, you are right. It's still on the player because the player has to find a way to make it work.
Yeah. Do you think it's misprofiled? Do you think it's misprofiled a little bit? Well, I think they saw him as a goal scorer. They saw him as a major goal scorer, and they thought, he's a player maybe like a Haaland who don't need many touches, but can get 1 or 2 a game. That sort of. I think
he's misprofiled a lot of players, though, Jamie. To be fair, Arteta, as much as he deserves praise, there's definitely criticism to certain players. I think we misprofiled Declan Rice for the majority of last year. Look at him now. He's now box to box, and boom, everyone's talking about him being one of the best in the league. Whereas last season, everyone was questioning whether he was an advanced 8. Well, he wasn't. He's a box to box. He needs to be deeper, and now he is. Look at him, boom. So I think he has misprofiled players before. But look, I want to move to just like quickly before we come to Jordan Wolfie, because I do think there were some positives last night. Madueke being one of them. He's come on now to get back up to Saka. Unbelievable goal. I know he got the header as well, but that goal was a banger. Martinelli as well. Not great in the first half, I didn't think, but second half really come to life, and I thought he was excellent. That goal was superb. Is that just showing the strength in depth? I don't mind who answers this, but is that just showing that we do actually have the best squad in the league now? Some people are saying. Do people agree with that?
Mm-hmm. I think you got a good squad. You know what I mean? Obviously, you've had injuries and whatnot, but yeah, I think to have Madueke coming on instead of Saka, and I can't lie to you, man, Madueke might be knocking on the door to start a game. You know what I mean? If you look at Madueke, when he's dribbling 1v1, he's a little bit more direct than Saka